Welcome back to the Tul World podcast. I'm your host, David Ju, and I'm here with Master Ju.
How's it going there, Mr. Ju?
It's okay. It's currently going through quite a heat wave right now.
Yeah, heat dome.
Heat dome?
Heat dome.
Yeah,
Put a lid on top of the California
maybe.
or West Coast.
yeah.
Whatever. That's how you cook.
Yeah, that's
Put
true.
dome on top.
Right. I'm cooking out here. Anyways, so this week we're going to be discussing about midair attacks.
Midair attacks, right? Because
Right.
there's different types, right?
Yeah, so you got a midair kick and you have a midair strike. Right. So usually you see the midair kick, yonge, moonmu, oji,
Okay.
right? And so those are like kind of like a flying back kick. But what makes a midair kick special? Why is it different than just a flying back kick? Yeah. So what's the difference here?
Well, midair kicks it's really a 180 or 360 flying back kick. You could say flying back kick, I guess that's the way to think of it. Or a 180 or 360 degree flying reverse side piercing kick. What's a reverse side piercing kick? Well, that's rotating, spinning around, and executing a side piercing kick. So when you look at just those two techniques, I mean, that's a different topic, I think. But when you talk about back kicks and side piercing kick, because sometimes you see people do back kicks and it rotates like too much and it becomes a side piercing kick. And really what that is really a reverse side piercing kick and not really a back kick. So what makes it a back kick? Well, back kick means that your back is exposed to the opponent.
So it's always done in a spinning motion.
Correct.
Why might we do it in a spinning? What's the purpose of that?
Well, I think the purpose of that is it's quick in a way. Someone's rushing at you and you just jump up and execute a flying back kick or midair kick. It's also, for those that aren't as skilled and they haven't seen as much, it's definitely going to be a surprise.
Yeah.
You don't see, it's not, for most people, you're not going to see, oh, well, someone just jumped up and kicked me. But people that have been training will probably see that a little bit more, especially in Taekwondo.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, maybe you don't see it in judo.
That's true.
So,
right.
so you're dealing with a judo person and someone jumps up and all of a sudden, what was just happened?
Right.
That can happen, right?
Yes, that is true. You have any thoughts on why it's called a little bit different? Then why instead of just calling it a flying back kick?
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, you did say earlier, you were saying that, I could do a flying back kick where I just jump straight up and kick behind me, right?
Yeah. So I've heard like people say mid-air kick is a technique where you just jump straight up, right? As opposed to like a double motion. So mid-air meaning I jump up and I execute a flying side piercing kick with the lead leg. I jump up, and I turned in the air and I did a flying side piercing kick. I jumped up and I spun around and I did a back kick. So I've heard it that way, where mid-air kick is just jumping up and executing a technique. But the encyclopedia specifically says that a mid-air kick is 180 or 360 back kick or reverse side piercing kick.
Okay. All right, so let's jump forward to the midair strike. That's a little bit more, there's a little bit more components to it, I would kind of say, to kind of talk about or discuss. We first see this one in Juche, or also Kodong.
Right?
And so what is the midair strike?
Yeah, you want to cover that one?
Well, yeah, I guess so. I mean, it's just you're in an L stance, you jump and you spin 180 degrees and you do an outward knife hand strike.
That's correct. And so, that same logic, or if you want to call it a mid-air strike, I kind of think it kind of falls in line with that mid-air kick. Because what you're doing is you're doing this 360. Again, that technique is a 180, or you could do a 360.
Yeah.
And it's usually done in a knife hand or possibly a back fist strike, right?
So do you think that it still falls in the same line of thinking where it kind of is a little surprising?
Yeah, absolutely.
Where I can do that? Okay.
You just go from, let's say, an L stance, you jump up and just spin around and you execute that technique.
Yeah.
And the mid-air kick or the mid-air strike, you have to strike at the top of the of the jump, right?
Right.
The apex, I guess.
Interesting.
Same with midair kick. You got to
yeah.
jump, you got to kick at that top, not while you're coming down or coming up.
Well, yeah, I hope so. Not before you land. So sometimes you see with the midair strike,
I don't know,
like
I've seen it in class. They jump, they're landing,
they,
and
you need to practice a little bit more. Sometimes you see the midair strike, and so they strike, and then the arm bends. I think you actually see that in the encyclopedia, and I almost want to say that it.
Are you talking about like in Kodang or Juche?
Yeah. So in Juche, you jump up, strike, and then the arm bends. I'm not sure if the description says that in the encyclopedia,
Or is it just a photo?
or is it just a photo? Right?
Yeah.
Thoughts on that?
Well, I think that once you hit your target, the technique has to be correct, right?
Yeah.
In other words, if I'm going to do an outward knife hand strike, it's got to be extended. But once that's done, it kind of relaxes a little bit. And so I can see that, I jumped, I'm at the top of the jump, I execute the technique, now I'm landing, and now it does say keep the hand out and land. But I can understand that it doesn't have to be locked out. I don't know, how do they do it at the World Championship? I'm guessing some people actually do that, where they jump up and they locked out and then they land. Is it correct or incorrect?
I think I've seen it both ways. I
Right.
think majority of the time you see where people keep the arm more locked out, I would want to say.
Right.
I've only seen it a couple times where the person actually bends the arm. I don't think I see that too
It doesn't
much.
describe that though, does it? It's just a photo, but it does seem logical to me that once you hit that target, I mean, it's like if I was going to jump up and throw a punch, would I and then
hold
land
it
that
out.
way, or would I go lock it out and then relax, even though my arm is kind of forward? Would you lock it out and land that way? No, so if you look at Yongge, you jump up and you execute the technique, and the photo shows that the elbow is slightly bent as you land.
All right. Well, any other final thoughts on midair strikes before moving forward here?
Surprise attacks. It's a flying technique. And so what defines flying techniques, right? Flying technique is when both feet is off the ground.
Right. Well, let us know your thoughts on midair kicks and strikes. And as always, don't forget to share this podcast with all your friends. Got this fly going around here.
Flying around.
I know, this fly is flying around. But as always, don't forget to be safe.
Keep training.
And we'll see you guys next time.
Taekwondo.